Well, it's Saturday the 6th of August. This is episode 2231 of 301 Permanently Moved.online, a personal podcast 301 seconds in length, written, recorded and edited by me, at the JMO. A year ago, episode 2129, I talked about my first tentative steps with AI models and image generators. I've had thoughts over the last 12 months, but recently I've come to the conclusion that the short-term impact of these technologies are underestimated and under-discussed. In the last year alone, we've gone from Clip and VQGAN running in Google's Colab cloud compute platform to DALL-E 2, Midjourney, DALL-E Mini, etc. ML models are now household names. I've also been playing with NVIDIA's Nerf software. You take a bunch of photos of a location from different angles and it figures out a 3D model based on the dataset. It's wild. The speed and rate of development is staggering. Google's Magic Eraser and Photoshop's content-aware fill are pedestrian. Articles, at the moment, are all about the aesthetics of DALL-E 2, or discussing the copy and moral rights of an artist a model has been trained on. The open source community is up in arms about GitHub's Copilot. The problem is, these discussions are post-quo. Much has been settled law for decades. Sui generis database rights were established in 1996, and copyright itself is an archaic idea from 1710. For me, conversations about the training content of AI models are the same as the ones about our collective cultural imagination. Both ML models and the MCU are shaped by the same capitalist logics. AI models are complete worlds, snapshots of the culture. Each one is different, shaped by the preferences and biases of the neural network used and the content that it was shown. DALL-E 2 is a complete world in the same way Wikipedia is. These models are a new substrate, cultural technologies. Different models produce different images. Each has its own vibe, palette, shape, quality, regardless of the prompt. That's Clip, that's Guided Diffusion, that's Midjourney, etc. AI models are like film stocks, Kodachrome versus Fujicolor. A photographer's style is as intangible as the film stock they use, but until recently, we wouldn't have dreamt of saying that any of it should be under copyright. Dan Hon, talking about style transfer in his newsletter recently, said, "You pay to have the model create images in a certain photographer's style, and, well, no one's stopping you from using those images in whatever way you wish. Replace photographer with artist, musician, fashion designer, architect, whatever, and the sentence will still hold." We are in a really weird place in culture. In 2018, everything changed. The blurred lines lawsuit, the worst copyright decision ever made in history. Until 2018, the law was clear. A song was chords, melody, and lyrics. Blurred lines sounds nothing like Marvin Gaye's Gotta Give It Up, but they feel the same. A jury of Pharrell's peers thought this was something that could be owned. They judged that he'd infringed Gaye's vibe. So now, apparently, you can own a groove, or rather, own the copyright over how a song makes people feel. Pharrell, producing Blurred Lines, did style transfer. Of course, I have sympathy for photographers who find that the addition of their name in a prompt causes an image to look a certain way, but do we really want to live in a world where the style and vibe of a creative work is copyrightable? Spawning from AI models is a totally different thing from sampling. Holly Herndon has been banging this drum for years. We need to talk about this now before all the really crazy stuff arrives. She saw it all coming. Gregory Coleman is the most sampled musician in history, the drummer who played the Amen break. Yet he died homeless in 2006 at the age of 62. This is a huge failure of the copyright system. Let's just say that style is copyrightable. Let's think this through. It's 1969, Coleman, just having recorded with the Winstons, picks up his sticks. That's swinging, buddy. You can't do that. That's been Kenny Clarke since 1939. What does this mean for reggae, trap, blues, folk, whatever? Post-blurred lines, this is the world that we are in already. Calls to remunerate artists whose names are style modifiers in prompts under the current system is straight up right accelerationism. The development of machine learning tools is as big a deal as the printing press, the technology that begat copyright in the first place. But models are a medium. They aren't copied with paper and ink. New things emerge, are spawned out of them. It's clear too that these new technologies will underpin the creative practices and economy of the 21st century. Over the next 20 years, the creation of and ownership of these new cultural technologies has to be redrawn. The entire framework, culture, copyright, creative remuneration. The current media environment encourages us to take sides, to develop coarse arguments based on reactionary headlines. The biggest cultural contribution anyone can make that benefits the artists of the future today is to develop a nuanced position. Think about the coarse arguments around sampling back in the 1990s. Think about Coleman dying homeless and alone.